Cool.
Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for joining us. We're having another journey into what is your body saying to you. And today I'm joined by the lovely lady Moira Bramley from Italy. How are you, Moira?
I'm really good. Thank you. Very, very good. Very happy to be here.
Well, I just want to begin by congratulating you because you have literally just become a 3-day body class facilitator.
Yes, I have. I'm very excited about that. What it gives me is so much more awareness of bodies and my own body every time I do a body class. And it's not just about bodies, it's about our lives, literally everything that we are all thinking, believing, energetically, we are emitting that, and our bodies are vibrating as that. So it's wonderful.
So that actually leads me into my first question, because I was driving here today. I'm staying with a friend at the moment. I was driving here today and I'm thinking, what can I ask? What questions can I ask Moira? And it became like instantaneous. This question popped into my head, and I wanted to ask you particularly about, what is it that is so magical for you in regards to the body processes in Access Consciousness?
Wow. How long have you got?
Big question, I know, but yeah, what could you speak to about that?
Oh wow, it's a massive topic. Okay, so when I first started it, I was like, is this doing anything? And in the beginning, way back many years ago, wasn't actually in my body. I mean, your body's in you, but I wasn't connected to my body. And that came from, most of us, we take on board what's going on with our parents' bodies. We biomimetically mimic them, which means it's kind of like a myna bird can imitate, or a lyre bird in Australia can imitate any sound. It knows the vibration and it just becomes that. Well, our bodies do the same. So we will look to our parents to see how to be with our bodies. And my mother was a beautiful woman, but she had so much shame around the attraction that men directed towards her, the lust. And she also had a point of view about her legs, which were beautiful. They were very thin but beautiful. And she disowned her legs, so she literally couldn't feel her legs. I didn't know this until years later, when it was actually Grace, funnily enough. We were just talking about the founder of Access Consciousness. His daughter, Grace, put me back with my body. She worked on me. She did body work, and she worked on me, and she got me to connect to my body. And for the first time, I could feel my legs. I could feel my feet, but I couldn't feel my thighs or my shins or calves. It was unbelievable. Yeah.
So you were literally just you had no awareness, you had no sensation, or you just had no connection to that part of your body?
Yeah, and I thought it was normal.
Wow.
I thought it was normal. Like, if we don't know, everything's normal to everybody who bees what they be. They don't really know that it's, well, that's not true entirely, but with your body, if you've gradually duplicated or biomimetically mimicked your parents, you can see it in posture of kids walking with their parents. You can see that they're creating their posture as their parents do. So to me, it was just like, yeah, well, that's how it is, Why do you need to be aware of your legs?
Exactly. Why?
You don't really need to be aware of them. I don't mean that if I felt pain, I wouldn't feel it. Of course I would. But I just wasn't, I wasn't connected to my body.
So when you say Grace worked on you, do you want to just explain a bit more about that for anybody that might be?
So the body, I'm coming back to the body processes. So when you work with these body processes, they're not energies that are known to Joe Bloggs. They're not energies that are known, like you'll look at, I don't know, Reiki or something. These are energies that are known to a lot of people. They're energies that are, God, this is going to sound really weird, but the Access Consciousness energies are brought here onto this planet, and they have never been here before. They may be hiding somewhere in some jungle or some animal, or I don't know. But when we start to run these processes, we clear our bodies of a lot of stuck energies, and we actually open our bodies up to being capacities, having capacities that we never knew we had. Now, this seems very far-fetched, and I don't care. I can literally put my hand on somebody, touch them, and their whole body changes and their reality changes. There's certain people that I'm quite close to that won't allow me to touch them because they know they don't want the change. And it's consciousness that them and their bodies will get through the energies that are transmitted.
Yeah, and that's another major part of this, because, it's like, well, speaking from my own experience, I've done a lot of body work. I've received a lot of different types of body work, but there is nothing, I don't even have words even to begin to describe. So I'm really thankful that you've pointed out what you have, because it is something totally different to anything that you've ever experienced. And yet what it unlocks with the body is beyond any kind of logical, fathomable, grasp. And yet when you've received a body process or you've been in a class, the change is so obvious. It was really obvious to me anyway.
And then you start to discover your capacities. And these capacities are available to everybody, literally. Our bodies are miraculous. They can be and do way more than you can imagine. And so back to Grace, she knew how to connect with me and connect me with the molecular structure of my body. And she's just like, okay, you're going to be here. You're going to be here. Okay, do you want to stay here? Do you want to stay here? Do you want to be here? And she worked on me long enough for me to go, wow, that's different. Yeah, so we start to discover. So basically everything that you create in your life, you're using your body. We don't know it until we get aware enough, and then we know it. But for example, when you're pulling in money and you're asking for money to come, your body's on board with that. Yeah. So a couple of years ago, this was when I really was like, oh my goodness, because when you become it, you don't even know the power and the capacities you have. One time a couple of years ago, I was in Rome and I got out of a car. I had been dropped at my hotel, and a young girl had been hit by a car on her moped, and she was lying on the ground and her leg was twisted in a way that it was backwards and her whole bone was exposed and her knee was hanging out, and it was like quite horrific. And she was just screaming and screaming and screaming. And I was looking at people going, well, somebody will go to her, and nobody did. So I did, and I literally put my hand on her chest and her abdomen, and within 30 seconds to a minute, she was calm and breathing. And I was like, holy shit, this is like, so I just said to her, you're going to be fine. And I put my hands on her and she just started to breathe heavily, but she stopped screaming and she calmed right down. It was quite amazing.
Yeah.
So it was even like the pain disappeared. She literally just calmed right down. And I was like, and I knew it was all the work that I had done over the years with people's bodies and the processes.
Yeah, and it's phenomenal, because I think we're so, until you discover these body processes, we're so used to the physical component, like massage or acupuncture or chiropractic. We're so used to a manual, physical, gross way of being with a body, and yet this is so subtle and gentle and yet incredibly transformative at the same time. So for those of you listening, it's like, what, you just put your hands on people's bodies, and because just like you were saying, Moira, the body processes are designed to give you your true blueprint of your body, and what that is unique to you and your body only. There is no other body on the face of the planet. But when somebody is willing to receive, so I love the body processes, because basically you get to lay on the table and somebody will put their hands at different positions and ask for different energies to turn on and run with your body. And stuff changes.
And even lying on the table, I mean, it took me years to actually allow myself to receive. And even recently, somebody said something it was actually Gary, said to me in an abuse hold class, which we do every year, he said, yeah, but you'll watch everything energetically that's going on with what the other person's gifting to your body. You'll just watch everything. And I said, no, I won't. And then I watched myself watch every nuance of energy that moved in my body. And I had no idea that that wasn't me. That was still me controlling, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it starts off with the barrage. It's like literally, it's learning how to receive somebody's touch and receive energy without putting barriers up to it, which gives you, because we put barriers up to ourselves and we don't know we do. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think one of the most beautiful things to me, whether it's Access Bars, which is also a hands-on process as well, or the body processes, whether you're attending a 3-day body class or an advanced body class, that gifting and receiving, you know, that simultaneity of gifting and receiving, it's not like I'm doing or I have to do to you. This is very much a oneness that's being generated and created as our bodies talk to each other and we contribute. And when somebody truly receives, can you speak to that, Moira, when somebody actually receives what you're doing?
It's almost like having sex. It's like totally, it's extremely yummy, and just the vibration is just humming. It's humming and your body hums and it's like you're just so turned on. And I don't mean like, I mean, you're ready for sex, you could have sex, but you're not, it's not about sex. It's not, well, it is a sexual thing, but it's not about copulation thing, you know? God, I might be putting a lot of people off here.
Or you might be turning a lot of people on.
So it's incredibly relaxing and nurturing, healing. It's undescribable. That's what it is. You know, and depending on the process, some processes are quite uncomfortable because the energies, giving your body a different energy, sometimes it literally has to force the cells to receive a different energy. And sometimes they're quite uncomfortable. You're like, oh, this is not comfortable. But the rewards afterwards, whew.
Yeah. And I
mean,
know
you guys can probably perceive the peace in Viv and I's worlds that comes from bodywork. And all the change that bodywork brings, it brings way more awareness and way more to work on as well.
Yeah, and that's another major part of this, because again, it is so beyond this reality, gifting or receiving the body processes, that, you know, if you're looking for greater consciousness, you can't access that greater awareness or that expanded awareness or consciousness if you're not willing to be present and be with your body and occupy your body and create with it. So do you want to just say something on that, Moira, as well?
Well, literally 70%, and this is something I'm still working on, honestly. I mean, 70% of all information comes through your body. So can you imagine how how unaware we make ourselves of so many things?
Yeah.
One of the things that I haven't totally chosen yet is to spread my molecules out so far that the bigger you become energetically with you and your body, the more yumminess that you live from, and the more capacity you have, and the more awareness you have. And that is something that I be more than many people, and yet I haven't chosen it totally. And I know it's coming. It's something that I will choose. So what was your question, Viv?
Well, you've answered it anyway, but it was basically, you know, if you're looking for greater consciousness, if you're looking to have an expanded awareness, you can't have it if your body's not with you. You know, like this is where the body work is so essential. Because like you were saying earlier, your mum was walking around with shame, and that's just one emotion. That's just one thing. I mean, how much people's bodies cloaked in and soaked in regards to judgment or wrongness, or they don't like the shape of their boobs, or they're not tall enough, or whatever it is. It's like imagine being completely free of all of that and actually having your body as your best friend, and that sense of peace and that space that you were just referring to, you know, allowing your molecules to be so spread apart. You're in oneness with everything. The pain that you may have been dealing with or living with for so long dissipates. And this is my own personal experience. It's like I had spent literally thousands and thousands of dollars on chiropractors, massage, acupuncture, you name it. And they all helped to a degree, but nothing eliminated the physical, like the density of that pain, the weight and the heaviness that pain was, and the contraction. And as soon as I did, I think it was actually my first advanced body class, which then I think was 5 days. I remember a body class that I did was 5 days long anyway. It was like, wow, this is the space and the peace with my body that I've always craved for and known, but nothing that I had tried up until that point had created this. So, you know, so for those of you curious, Moira's a 3-day body class facilitator. So you've got some classes. You live in Italy. You've got some body classes coming up in Europe, I believe. So was it January, you said?
Yeah, one in January in London, in the West End, and one in Budapest, in Pest. There's Buda and there's Pest. So one in Pest in the weekend after, actually. So it's one weekend and then the next weekend. Yeah.
So if anybody watching is curious and you'd like to know more about the 3-day body classes, we have facilitators globally all over the world that teach this. And you just go to Access Consciousness. There's one too many E's in that. It's Access Consciousness. I think Liliana just caught that, accessconsciousness.com. And just click on the tab for 3-day body classes if you're interested in. And then we have the most amazing, for those of you that would like to open up to way more peace and space. Thank you for the advanced body class. That /ABC stands for advanced body class. So Grace Douglas is facilitating an advanced body class next year. Where did you say it was, Moira?
Geneva.
In Geneva.
Yeah.
And Simone Melissus is facilitating a 3-day advanced body class in December in Noosa, Australia. So, if you want to find out more, accessconsciousness.com. And anything you would like to say to the bodies that have joined us tonight, Moira, just before we jump off?
To the bodies, turn it up. Make them pay attention. It's literally, I mean, the planet has an intelligence, and our bodies, we disconnect from the planet. The planet has a major intelligence that the bodies share. And if we're not willing to be connected to the body, we're literally not willing to be connected to the planet that we live on. So just a choice. They're everywhere. They're in almost every country in the world. So
yes. Susan, thank you. She said, thank you. See you in Noosa. Well, we look forward to welcoming you to the sunny tropical shores of Noosa in Queensland. So, Moira, thank you so much. I've been very blessed to have lots of body work with you and swap body work, and we've had some phenomenal conversations, as we always do.
I adore you both.
And you too. And thank you so much for being my guest tonight. And lucky people who get to join your 3-day body class.
Yeah.
And that goes the same for any of the 3-day body class facilitators, because each one brings a very special and very unique energy to the class as well. So, you know, if you are looking at doing a 3-day body class class and you're not sure which facilitator to choose, ask your body to choose.
Exactly.
Have a look at the profiles of it. Ask your body to choose, you know, ask your body to show you who you would like to be in class with. And it might surprise you. You might end up in Dubai, or you might end up in Stockholm, or who knows where in the world. So, or Buda, Pest, but Biddy in Pest.
Pest is a posh part.
There you go. Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Thank you
again, Moira.
Thanks,
Bye, everybody.
Bye.